while we wait. But this way, yeah, see week 17 upcoming. If I refresh this. Yep, it's live. Okay, so here then is the link. I'll send you on Telegram. That's a much easier way to do it.
Great. Yeah, you can begin, and I will come when I'm done. I think.
I will just pleasure my cat in a non-weird way. So, hello, and welcome back to YouTube. We've decided to come back here because we got sick of trying to do it on Circle, and it was not really working. So we're back on YouTube Live for our bonus second episode this week because we're trying to cover all the stuff that did not get recorded in our brief experiment with Circle. So welcome, and we will get started officially once Dimitar is finished posting a link.
Yeah, I think it's finished. Let me just check if it's actually working.
I did. I checked. That's how
you checked.
Oh,
nice. And we don't have a black screen this time, which is nice.
Check.
Yeah, so I
have
ready.
With all cardboard. It's like IKEA for cats. The instructions are not as simple as IKEA, but that's for me to wear. All right, cool. So welcome to everyone joining us now and in the future. Myself, Jos, and my co-host here, Dimitar, are going to tell you what's been happening this week in FlutterFlow, which is actually by this week we mean last week. Because
and you can, yes, nice.
I can let you show the screen. So yes. We'll get straight into the news. I'm going to pull up here.
Can you share your screen from here? We didn't test that, right?
From my screen.
Is it possible?
Oh, also remember we tried like some woohoo. There was 1 week where we did something kind of cool. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I think this is the last setup. It's the one that we used.
Okay, cool. So let me just pull up the news update. Cool.
But can you share at the same time? Is it possible?
I don't know. What happens if I try to share? Such amateur hour here. If I share at the same time. Boom. Infinity. Yeah, I guess it kind of works. But I don't know how
it works. You just have to switch the tabs.
Yeah. I don't know how.
Or you can just share and then.
I can just share one tab, no? This one here. I think I'm sharing some tab. Here you go. This one. Cool. What's new in FlutterFlow? So this is for watch. They're going to screw us over. There's going to be some new announcement today.
No.
But no, there isn't. We're lucky. October 19th.
Yeah.
The one we need to cover. So, project. Are you ready?
Yes. Tell me.
Comments.
Give it to me.
Project comments. This is where Dimitar now leaves me annoying comments. If this works whenever you share a project, you can comment specifically on a widget, I believe, or a page. And essentially it works just like how comments work. You can resolve comments. You can tell people that they screwed up. You can say that if you have a client, they want stuff differently. It isn't just with team accounts. So this will work even if you just share a project link. How do you share a project link, Dimitar?
You can switch now so I can show people. Isn't it?
I don't know. Oh, I get it. This is actually better. You're right.
Yeah.
I can turn mine off,
nice.
right?
Nice. So how do we share a project, you asked, right?
Yeah. For instance,
sharing a project
with an expert, how would they share the link with you?
Yeah, so if you're talking about sharing the actual project and not the run mode project, it's you go to settings and integrations and then go to project sharing and then you click on invite user. Is that what you're asking, right?
I think so, yeah. Because there are a couple different ways you can share. Like, as you said, you can share a run mode link, which is just to share, like, so someone can play around with it, a client, etc., etc. Then you can invite people to your team. I think there's also, no, I think that is there's what happens if you share a link. Can somebody? Hello, Builders Grid. Thank you for joining us. If you share a project link, can somebody edit and destroy your project? No.
I don't think so.
No, they can't. So you can give them view-only access, so that they actually
Yes.
can't. So they can't destroy it, which is obviously how, if you go to like that the product hunt page for FlutterFlow, that's how they have their set up, which is really cool. You don't have to worry about people. Then the next question is, can they steal your code? I guess yeah, but they still have to build it themselves. They can't clone it, so you don't have to worry. Plus, if your app is that easy to copy, I'm going to let you in on a secret. It's not that special.
Can you just go to my screen again, please? So we can actually show how you can, so we can actually show how you can actually, so yeah, here are the comments, sorry. This is, you can leave to a certain screen, right? Or to a certain widget, sorry. Or you can leave it to the, I think, to the whole page. It's from here, so press this button and then press the plus, I don't know, it's a plus, it's the icon.
Color.
Yeah, and then say this page should change to, and then write something. And then save it. And now from here, when you have comments, so for example, if someone wrote something here, then I go to all the comments and now I see all the comments. And then when I go to a comment, actually I see where is the, so you can actually see which widgets are actually the comments are on. So if I click this comment, it's actually selecting the correspondent widget. And now I can say resolve, and it's saying, are you sure you want this to be resolved? And I said, yes, let's resolve it. And then when I go to resolved, you can see that all resolved are over here. And this is actually new because I think last time we talked about this, there is no possibility to come back the resolved comments. But right now you can, because there is a new button, as you can see over here, that when you press, you can actually say resolve comment. And when I press yes, it should be actually back to all, and that's the case. So that's great, because last time we covered this was not the case. So right now you can resolve it from here with this icon over here, and then you can unresolve it from this icon, the same icon, but from resolved. And when you select something, so when I go over here, and if I select something, I should be able to see, I think, the selected, all the comments for the selected one, you can see over here. If I select something else, like this button, I don't have any comments over here, so it's nothing is showing. So I think this is a great way to, if you're with someone, if you're sharing the project or you have a team, or you have, like in my case, I work with my friend who is a UI UX guy, and I can just say to him, fix this, or I can just say to Josh, fix your issues. And then
question. Well, we have a question from one of our guests here about the question from Mr. Builder's Grid. He says he wants to upload media to his WordPress API, but unfortunately, FlutterFlow allows upload media to only Firebase. Is there any alternative to upload media to WordPress API? To which my answer is yes. I would see two ways you could do it. You can either do it directly via, let's say, make that button right there. If you want, you could have essentially your use the more native built-in feature of FlutterFlow and just have a normal action to upload it. And yes, it will go to your Firebase. What you could then do is have a cloud function that would mean that every single time a piece of media was uploaded to Firebase, that it would then, on the back end, just magically in the cloud, your cloud function would then upload it via a REST API. The alternative is to do exactly what Dimitar is showing you how to do right now, I believe, which is with a REST API directly. I've posted also in the chat a link to some GitHub stuff on it. But yeah, Dimitar, over to you.
Yeah, I actually have my first video actually in my channel is about this, how you can actually upload something, and then whatever you uploaded to actually store it in your own server. So this is my video. So if you don't watch it, you can watch it. But there are several ways you can do this. One of the ways that George said that you can do it with a cloud function. This is one of the way. And I think the second way is that when you upload something, I'm not sure, but when you upload something, you can actually get because if you have an action, you can get the output of the action, right?
Yeah.
If you have any action, you can get output. But right now, you don't get any outputs from this action for whatever reason. But in theory, if you get any output, you should be able to say, for example, you should be able to say API call to WordPress. But I'm not sure if this is actually getting some. If
No,
the
you
output,
can. It's just in widget state is what it would be.
Yeah. So
under the normal action outputs, I don't think.
So you're saying if I want to take the actual link that is getting from Firebase, I should be able to get it from
widget state
action. Widget state.
No.
Upload file URL. Yeah, but I don't know what upload file URL. It's what is the type of it? Is it the type of string or what is the type of it?
String. It's an HTTPS string. So I think what you might have to do is you might have to pipe it through a custom function first, a custom function that takes in an image path technically, and then pops out a string.
But if I create in a local state, if I say path to image, for example, and then here I can say image path, and here in theory I should be able to use this, right?
Yeah.
I should be able to say path to image and then set, and then I should be able to get it from widget state.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when I get this from here, I think you only need a custom function to convert this to a string, right?
Exactly. So an image file path technically is no different than a string. It's just in FlutterFlow, it considers it to be something different, and it might restrict your access to it. But in actuality, you can always, which I think is the custom function Dimitar is doing right now, you can have a custom function that will take in an image path and output a string, and that will allow you to use it as a string value in parts of the interface where normally you wouldn't. We can actually add this to our function library, which is app.
I think it's a good idea to add this.
We can add this today or tomorrow as a custom function, but essentially all this is doing is it's like a little trick for FlutterFlow, if you like, of just turning a string into a string.
Yeah, exactly.
But that one line of code would then allow you to input the uploaded file URL. You would pipe it through that function, and then you'll be able to set up your REST API, which, I don't know if you're familiar with doing that, but I'm guessing since you asked about WordPress API specifically.
Yeah, it's very simple. We can just, I can just show you. It's if I have a very simple REST, if I have very simple like API here, test API, and then I have some random link. It doesn't matter the link. And then you can have if it's for example it's a post one because we're posting data. This would be the image path, and then this will be
a string.
We can actually send the image path directly.
Okay, so it'll let you do it directly. I didn't know that.
So I think if we send this directly, it will still work, right? We don't need a custom function at all.
Don't even need
I think so. I think so. So we can just say over here, we can just say image, and then here we can just say image like that. And why it's not image? I wrote something else. Okay, whatever. Everyone is complaining because this is a string. It should be with quotes.
There you go.
Then when I go over here and when I click this button, it will upload it to Firestore, and then I can use it over here, and then I can just say take the image from the
upload file URL from the widget.
Upload file URL. Yes. So that's how it works.
Hopefully that helps answer your question. And if you need more information, you can always drop us a message or check out that GitHub link. Cool. Thank you for the question. Shall we go on to the next next little thing?
Just tell me what is the title so I can create a page.
the title for this one, I really think we should be saving these things rather than deleting them each time. Improve
Yeah, I can
combined.
share the project with you, and then you can save it.
I see. I see. So the next update was about improved combined text. This is pretty cool. This is, I would classify it as a quality of life improvement. So combined text, if you've never used it before, combined text simply allows you to combine text. I don't know how else to explain it really. The advantages here. So essentially, this is a nice one would be like, let's say you want to have a string at the top of your page that says, I'm going to switch back to give Dimitar, show you what he's building. So let's say you want to have a text that says, welcome to Dimitar.
Yeah,
so
we can do it from here, right? Combine text.
You could obviously do this with two specific widgets. So you could have one widget that said welcome, and then you could have another one that said Dimitar. Or you can just have one widget if it's all going to be the same font. And what you would do is you could combine and set part of that as a specific value, welcome, and then you would set the other part from a user's authenticated user's display name. Do you have Firebase set up this week?
Yes, I think so. I believe so. But we can take it from local state as well, right?
Okay, sure. If you want.
Like
so
this.
Okay. Normally it would be done, but yeah, let's say you're taking whatever values in there. And so then it's going to combine those. The changes that have happened here. So you do have Firebase.
I have.
I think it's with hotels or something, right? From last time.
Events. It's from events.
Oh, it's Bible Club. I forgot. Yeah. I'm not being disrespectful when I say that word. The changes that have happened here is that you can now, it used to be a real pain if you messed up. So the thing to worry about with combined text, the thing to remember is that spaces are not automatically there. So if you want to have a space between welcome and Dimitar, what you need to have is actually put that space in the text string before the variable text string. The variable text string is just the variable, so it won't have spaces on either side. What you can do now, though, is you can rearrange more easily the order of these. So if you need to, add in something extra, you decide. Another use case for this is if you're composing like SMS, like, hey, check out my app on FlutterFlow, and then including a link to your app or something like that. If you decide you want to change that, you used to previously have to delete all the text strings and kind of start all over. It was a pain in the ass. Now with copy paste and this rearranging, it's nice. One thing to remember is that the way you access variable strings is using that little orange icon, which the TT is how you switch it from being a specific and then change it to variable. So it's a nice little change.
Yes, it is.
I agree. Next update, display elements on hover. We got kind of, the first time we recorded this, we got kind of messed up with this, but what kind of display do you want to do? Do you want to try and recreate?
I think this is only in web, right? This is only working on web.
Only in web, I believe, because you don't have a mouse on mobile. But so as this nice little GIF is showing you, what this allows you to do is set a mouse region, which is, you can consider it to be like a container. And then it means that everything inside of that container, you can now have actions triggered when the mouse pointer goes into and outside of that region. So maybe let's try and make a little menu button like they've done here. Try and recreate this.
Let's try.
Let me switch back to you. Bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop.
So what do I use for the menu button?
Why don't you put something inside that app bar?
Okay. Which way? Josh way or simple way?
Josh
okay. So Josh way, I should go over here and I should drag the row over here.
Exactly. For those of you who don't know, how you add extra stuff into your app bar. Then let's put like a little icon button.
Icon button, icon.
Icon button. Different.
Icon button, yeah, you're right. Icon button.
The difference is the way it animates. Cool. And then what we can do is, I guess actually we need to wrap that in the mouse region, that button.
Yeah. Wrap
I hope you can wrap it.
mouse region.
So yeah,
Yes.
this is the new, so what we've got here is the mouse region. So that's now wrapped inside of it. And it now means that on the mouse region, we can define an action.
Yeah.
We could define an action to, I don't know, what do you want to make it do?
We can change the color.
We could navigate.
Or we can change.
Let's navigate.
Navigate
let's
to a different page.
Yeah, let's do that. It'll be easier.
No, wait, I didn't. No, I made it to a wrong widget. It should be on the mouse region widget, not the button.
So we'll link up an action here to navigate. And this is, you have two choices here. Like if you open up the action flow editor,
yeah,
you have a choice here of on mouse enter and on mouse exit. So in this case, we want to just do on mouse enter. We want to navigate immediately to a different page.
Yeah, in this case, if we are navigating, the on mouse exit should not exist, right?
Because exactly, it doesn't matter because we'll be on a different page by then.
Exactly.
You could also trigger an animation and have it grow or something like that. There's really no limits to what you can do here. So let's try this out. So you've got it hooked up to a second page, and that should now mean that when you mouse over that button, they don't actually need to click it. It's kind of hard to see the button, but if you make it maybe white, then it's easier to see.
I will. And I wanted to ask you actually, myself, I have a question, which I recently actually discovered about the when you're navigating things. So when I go over here, because we're talking about navigation right now, so that's why I wanted to ask. So can you explain the replace route?
Yes, I can.
What is the deal with it? Because why I'm asking this is because I recently discovered using the issues in FlutterFlow, and people are complaining about actually when you going from one page to another and you are using API calls. I think it's the same for any kind of calls. So I mean API calls or database calls or Firebase calls. I think it's the same one. When you're actually navigating from page to page, it's actually FlutterFlow. It's actually keeping the pages alive. So it's actually what is going on. It's actually stacking all the requests that were sent. So I think this is the place where if you don't want to stack those calls to the database, you should actually enable this or disable it. I think it should be enabled in order to not send, in order to not keep the pages alive. Does it make any sense?
Performance. So there's two places where this comes into handy, or three. One of them is a bit of a hack, but the first one is a security issue. So let's say you have a checkout page. So you have a cart, shopping cart, and then you have a confirm purchase or something. And then what happens is you don't want the user to be able to go back to the page prior to their purchase, because your logic may be, for whatever reasons, right? But that doesn't mean you don't want the user to have that natural go back. Often a user does want to go back. What you want to do, though, is to send them back to the page before the confirmed purchase. And that's exactly what replace route does. So if you set up a navigate from the confirmed purchase to wherever else you're sending them afterwards, to the receipt page or something, you would do replace route. And what that would mean is that they would go back still, but they would skip over the one they just came back. What I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure, is that you can actually stack these. So if you have two navigates in a row that have this option enabled, they will. So if you have page A, B, C, D, and from page A to B, you have from B to C, you have replace route, and from C to D, you have replace route. When the user clicks on a back button on page D, they will go all the way back to page A. And again, this is good also for improving performance. The other use case, I've already forgotten, but I'll skip to the third one, which is a hacky one, which is that if you want to refresh a page for whatever reason, you can do an instant reload. So a navigate with the instant transition. So if you notice there, you have these transition options in your navigate.
Yeah.
Can you show that? right there.
Here.
Normally it's on default. If you choose the instant option, the visual change for the user will be almost imperceptible. And you can actually navigate to the same page that you're on. The problem with this previously, without replace root, is that it means if they then hit back, they go back to the same page. But if you do an instant page transition and a replace root, it means you can actually give the user the impression that they're refreshing the page, which is useful in an app. For instance, say like if you have, I don't know, I use it in our Flexperts app to clear a form, for instance, to reset the form, because I can't reset the drop down. I can clear text fields, but I can't reset what they've chosen in the drop down menus. If you want to allow them to reset that, the way you can do that is with a navigate to the exact same page, but do it with a replace root, and it will just be like they've reset everything because everything will reload.
Because you're doing with the replace root, because if you're doing this and you don't enable replace root, when they click back, they will back to the same page, right?
And so if they've done it 10 times, they basically will just go in they will think they're in a loop. They will just go back to the same page like 10 times, and it'll be really annoying.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. So that's the navigate on hover. Their example looks a lot prettier than ours, but definitely play around with that. This one goes back, actually almost. We can extend, if you haven't already deleted it, our little API image action.
Yeah, no, I didn't delete it. It's still there.
So this is delete media. So this is really nice. Obviously, it gives a lot of users might want to delete their old naked selfie that they sent to their ex via your app. And they don't want to have that on there anymore, and they don't want you perving over them. Delete media allows them to actually delete not just maybe a Firebase document, but to actually delete the file in Firebase. So let's go ahead and show that. What I was thinking in this example, you might want to, after you've done the API call, maybe you wanted to delete it because you don't want to have mess left over and user data left over on Firebase.
Yeah, exactly. So here we are uploading. Here we are setting this file to the for the backend with API call, and then here we want to delete it after that. So we're deleting. Just make sure we're deleting this in Firebase. We're not deleting this in
exactly. So the use case here would be that it has been essentially duplicated on WordPress. So as soon as the API call was received, WordPress has kept a copy of it somewhere. So the original file and original file URL are no longer necessary. And so what we would do is we would use the delete media action using that same URL. You might want to put a little wait of like 2 seconds in between those two things, just to make sure that WordPress has enough time to do its thing. Potentially.
I don't think so. But okay, you can do it.
I don't trust that computers are as fast as you do.
Okay, how many seconds? This is 1 second. We can do it.
Yeah, it's 1,000 milliseconds. Exactly, which is going to be 3 seconds wait seems like so long in the actual app.
That's right.
But yeah, so that's how you use the delete media action. It's really cool. What there isn't is a delete all media action to comply with GDPR, but we won't get into that because I'll start ranting about it. Firebase Crashlytics. Crashlytics allows you to identify, improve, and fix issues causing crashes in your app. This can improve. To enable, go into your settings and integration. Firebase Crashlytics. And then, this is going to be tricky. Their words, not mine. Toggle it on. Are you ready for this? It's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see it.
So it's here, right? In settings, and then go to Firebase.
Crashlytics.
And this is the toggle, right?
Enable.
Boom.
And how do I actually see that? Bonus question.
You should go to Firebase and you should be able to see it from there. I think you should enable this in Firebase first. This is actually was getting me, and I was like stupid because I wanted to upload some, because we were talking about the uploading media.
Yeah.
But then I was actually going to upload something, but then at the end of the day, I didn't enable the storage in Firestore, so I was getting errors. And of course, if you didn't allow this or enable this, it will not work. So let me check and let me change this to Firebase. So if I check, what? Okay, that was weird. And then I'm talking about this, right? You should enable this one, which is to get
Oh,
the
for
media,
storage.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You should enable this in order to upload something. And then if I go to analytics, I think we should enable analytics from here, isn't it?
No, build and release. It's the next one down. Release and monitor, that one. Release and monitor.
Yes.
There we go.
And
Crashlytics.
this one. Yeah, exactly. We should, in Firebase, you should enable everything, right? You cannot just, even the authentication and the
I don't know.
Firestore database.
Some things seem to get enabled for you automatically, actually. I'm not exactly sure what determines whether it gets enabled, because this button is not as simple. Like normally it would just say turn on authentication. This one says
Exactly.
add SDK. And my guess is if you press that button, I don't actually know what's going to happen.
Which button? This button. Yeah, it's no. I press it, and you
Nothing.
don't see. But I am on the next page. It's a new tab, and it's
Yeah, so it gives you a bunch of directions. So I think for this one, you don't actually have to do it. I think that it will change and start showing you Crashlytics and the performance data once you actually do like a deploy of your app, I think. That's
yeah, I'm not sure, but we can try and we can say
yeah,
if
we'll
that
see.
really works.
Because
I think if a regular person start, even I think will have problems.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to do any of this stuff. This is what they're doing for you. I think it will Firebase will automatically detect it once you do like a deploy or once you do a of your app, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. That's actually this one was really short. Last week's was way longer.
Yeah, maybe we can check the other improvements.
Upgraded to Flutter 3.34. I'm not smart enough to be able to tell you what that does, but the next one is huge. Added ability to filter list variables by Boolean condition. This is really cool. That's the one I want to talk about. Do you have one you want to talk about?
Let me see. Ability to prevent query refresh when user change tabs. Okay,
Oh,
this is cool. Something. Yeah, this is something that we can talk about as well.
Let's do that.
Download. Yeah. Let's do the first two.
So
the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about tabs first. So, for any of you who have used tabs are a great way. Let's say that you have, like, we have a category in our Firestore called events right now, and we have different types of events. So we have cooking classes, Bible study classes, and sexual health classes or whatever. And so what we might want to do in our UX is to allow a user to navigate between those three things very easily. By the way, I don't know what organization is offering those three combinations of things. They don't naturally fit together, but that's okay. We'll pretend. Use our imagination. So we've got a tab view, which has 3 pages. And what we essentially want to have is a query and display a list where we are going to filter out all of the different types. So actually we can show both things in one here. So so first of all, so let's set a list view. And then maybe we can get really creative and we can use one of their little elements. It'll be nicer.
I have to wrap this inside the
just replace it. Just replace it.
No, but I want to leave the text, I think, isn't it?
No. I'm saying use a component. Use one of their pre-made components.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
So,
okay. Add a so I have to write it from here, right?
Yeah. No, from the add button.
The add.
Top left. Nope.
From here.
Top left, like where you would normally add a widget.
From here.
Like maybe you're right.
Yeah, because I'm always adding them from here.
Okay. So you add the component and then pick one that looks like an event card. So if you go card views, the fourth tab, pick one of those. There's probably one that looks like an event.
This one? No. Sure. This one?
Any of them. I'm not that
This one looks.
Okay.
No, I need to name it.
Event card. Cool. So now we've got our component here. This is we're gonna display one of these essentially for each of our events. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we get really fancy and have custom colors. Let's see. We'll see how far we get in the next 30 minutes. So if we go back to our main page.
Yeah. It's over here.
Cool. So we got our list view here, and then we want to add that card.
Yeah.
There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a query on this list view, and we're going to query our events collection.
Yeah.
And for this tab, we want only the events that are.
I'm always doing this.
So, yeah. And what that's going to do, obviously, is create one card for each event. Maybe a little bit of padding would be nice, but that's fine. A little bit of
I'm not a designer.
It's not here. It's on the card. On the card.
Okay.
Like there. Exactly. Just add like 10 and 10 or something. Just to space them out.
It's okay.
That looks fantastic. Thank you very much, Dimitar.
You're like the same for me when I ask you to format your code, right?
Exactly. When you ask me to format the code. Exactly. Cool. So if on our list view here, what we want to do is we want to filter our events.
Oh, we want to filter. Sorry.
Yeah. Come on.
So we're going here. No, here.
On the exactly. There you go.
Filter.
Add a filter. And so I believe we have a type of event.
Yeah.
And we want to do equals to.
Yeah.
Specific value.
Yeah.
Bible study. So this now will mean that we only get the events that are Bible study classes, right?
Yeah.
And what we can do is we can name this tab where it says tab 1. Exactly. Let's call this one Bible class. Cool. Now in the next tab, what I want you to do is just take that list view and duplicate it or copy it over to the next tab, basically.
I need a colon, right? So I will copy the whole one, the whole thing with a colon.
There you go. Cool. And we're going to change the query.
And let me copy it here as well.
Woo, getting ahead of things.
Okay, and then go into the query, and then I can remove this one.
Or add a different one. Exactly. This type is going to be, I can't even remember, cooking. This one is cooking classes. It's like all the components are in sexy date. We've got cooking classes, Bible study, and then sexual health. And then, yeah, so this one is cooking. And then in the third one, we have our sexual health classes or parental planning, depending on how politically correct you want to be. I assume we don't have an under 18 audience. Cool. And so we've got our 3 different filters. Now, what is new in FlutterFlow now after we've done all of this? The thing that is different is that previously, when you switch between tabs, it would trigger those queries to rerun each time. The performance, especially if that list is kind of big, is not going to be as good. It's going to be as smooth because it would actually be literally reloading that query each time. And then also, it's just going to be causing you extra reads to your Firebase billing, which again, I always say, if you have that problem, it's a good problem to have. But if you can avoid it, it's a good problem to avoid as well. So what you can see here is on your tab bar, you now have a new option here, which is to, I think it was at the bottom, right?
Yeah, this one. Which
I can't see because of our faces, but what is the option called?
It's called Keep Tab State Alive.
Keep tab. I just made myself big. There you go. Keep tab state alive. What keep tab state alive means is that it does not rerun that query. And so you get instant performance as you flip back and forth between these 3. This is really cool. The other thing we can build on top of this, well, we could do some colors, but the other option that you have now is the option to filter any list by a Boolean condition. So right now, what we've done is we've actually done the filter directly on the Firestore query. But let's change it up a little bit. Let's take away those queries.
Okay. Take one of it.
Okay, fine. And let's put the query on the top of the page, on the scaffold.
The top of the page, yeah.
And we'll do a query. Yep, query collections events, and we're not going to apply any filter.
Yeah, and I think this is the better way, isn't it? Because
this is the
this
better
would, yeah, because you in this way you only take you only ask the database once, and you take only the.
Well, I mean, you're technically asking the database once. In total, your number of reads is going to be the same. The advantage of doing it this way is that it allows you to let users type things in for search and to filter that way as well. This is the big advantage. So how do you set? So basically what's happened is when the user comes to the page, it's gone and got, let's say, 50 different events of all three types. Now we want to separate them out by tabs. And the way we do that previously, you would used to have to use a visibility, which was not an ideal solution because the data was still there. It was just being hidden. What we can actually do now is do on our list view, we can use generate from children. And we're going to give it a name first.
Why first? I always do it after that.
And boom. And what you can actually do there, directly in that query, I believe. So you've got documents. If you click that, click on the documents, where it says no further changes. Boom, you've got this new option, filter list items. You can now filter by a normal condition. And you can say that type equals to cooking class. What are you doing? Oh, yeah. I was like, what? Type.
I'm doing what you're saying.
I can't actually see it. For me, it's kind of small, but it's okay. Is equal to specific value cooking class. The cool thing about this is that let's add where you've got can we add some search field somewhere?
Search field?
Yeah, like a text field.
Yeah.
You could, I don't know, you could add it in the header if you wanted to, in the app bar, just a text field.
Yeah, sure. Let me just do it with the Josh way.
Exactly, do it the Josh way.
Place.
And then we'll put like some, it might give you a crash actually. I just realized you might. Okay, cool. Yeah. So now what we've got is the opportunity for the user to type in what type of event they want to see. So now what we can go back and change is our filter, where we were filtering list items once Dimitar has made it look pretty.
No, it doesn't work.
Or not at all.
Okay, let's imagine that it's pretty.
Okay, you can wrap it in a container. Then it will actually...
Okay, let's do that. That sounds easy. Easy enough for me. Wrap it inside a container. Okay.
Maybe change
the size. That looks better, Josh. You're right.
Change the size of the container?
What?
Change the size of the container to be like 50 pixels or something high.
50. 50 by 50.
Or more like 200 by 50. But...
Like that?
Yeah, sure. That works. So now you can actually see what there's something in there that a user could type, basically. And so now if we go back to our generate children from list, what are you doing?
I'm putting padding. You want padding?
So in our generate children from list, what we can actually filter by now, instead of just this fixed condition, what we can do is filter where type equals to, and then change that second part to be equal to widget state. So equal to widget state.
This one, right?
Yep. So rather than a specific value, we can now have from widget state and then the text field. Now, in actuality, you wouldn't necessarily do it like this because the user would have to specifically type the exact thing correctly. But there are other ways around that. But for simplicity's sake, what we'll do for now. So now what you have is actually a searchable list that is only required, again, one Firestore query. And this is really powerful, and you can use this filter list items in a million different ways across your app. So yeah.
Can I use here the autocomplete and put all my
You can.
events?
Let's do that. This is, I forgot about this. So this right here is allowing you to autocomplete. So what this is, what Dimitar has done here is he has mapped the different types, I believe.
Do I need a filter condition for that?
You can just, the thing, the weird thing, this would actually, in reality, this would give you 50 million different types of each, but it's fine. Essentially what Dimitar is showing here is autocomplete, which is a new feature in text field that I think we didn't talk about last week, maybe, whereby you can.
No, but I think this is 2 or 3 weeks before that.
But basically you can put a list of things in there and allow the user to not have to type it correctly and just to type the first few letters, which is absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, we did talk about it because you could use it for address search with an API call, but we've run out of time this week because we're at an hour. So I think that's everything. Well, we've got 2 minutes. Do you have any final words?
It's yeah, man. I think, but this is not working in the end of the day, right? Because if I click confirm, it says current variable is not valid,
Yeah, well,
and I don't want to mislead my our viewers.
Okay.
To think that this is actually can be done, because no, it's not working. So Josh, we have to fix this before we go.
Well, I can fix it. Fix it to name. Map list type name.
Where is that?
Right there. So change it from type to name.
Yeah. Okay. But okay. But what if I want to get the types?
Well, then what you're going to do is take away the filter list items and do no further changes.
Yeah.
And now
you're right.
And this would work with
now
type.
I can use the type, right?
You can. It would just not make much sense because you would have.
No, but what you said about types, you said that, isn't it that we'll just, you're saying that every event that have type, it will just list
exactly.
If I have duplicates, it will just, for example, if I have 100 events, it will just give me 100 types. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So if you had 100 Bible study classes and you type in bib, it would then give you 100 different Bible study. It just doesn't really make sense, like practically.
Is there a way actually to,
what you could do is you could, let's do this. Let's do a little bonus thing. Custom function real quick.
Yeah. Do we have this custom function inside our?
We can later today.
Function builder.
And called get unique values.
No. That's not how it's spelled, right?
It doesn't matter. I'll spell it correctly when we add it. So what you're going to input is a list of strings.
Is that string, right?
Yeah, exactly. A list of strings, and then the output
list of strings.
And then the input is a list of strings too. So this is if you want to remove duplicates. Maybe we do have this one. I can't remember. No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. We have it.
It's a really handy function.
Yeah, exactly.
So the function here, I believe, is just to set to list to set to list or something, right?
Not sure about that. If I mean, you have some weird coding things, but let's try. Let's try your theory, and then we can test it actually, so we can see if it works.
Yeah.
So what you're saying?
Safety.
I removed the no safety, but okay. Let's
so what I think, what I believe, is that.
Oh, it says value. Oh, it says because I name it value. Okay, let's name it. I think it's more.
String.
Then we have input list. The no safety is here. And what you're saying is that it puts to list. Is that what you're saying?
So was my understanding that a set is unique. So I was under the impression that you could do input list dot to I think it's to set, and then do to list, Okay, and now just return that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's try this.
Yeah, I guess just try it. Yeah.
So if I have hello world, and
Yeah.
hello
See?
Josh,
Yeah.
and hello Dimitar, I should get
Let's see.
hello world, hello Josh, and hello Dimitar. 3 times.
Let's see.
Three items. Hello world, hello Josh, and hello Dimitar. Yes, you're right.
Isn't that way easy? The code that you find on Stack Overflow for this is way longer, but I think this way is way simpler. I don't know if there's some disadvantage of it, but it works.
No, I don't think so. There is, but yeah, this works. So you can just do it like that. So what I have to do is go over here, and then over here, I will do it.
No. So you
Not
want
over
to change
here.
you want to change that to be the input as a
Yeah.
custom function.
Yeah, and then over here, and put this list
And then map
from events and map
list.
And this will be the type.
Right, exactly.
And this will be no further changes.
Mm-hmm.
Finish and confirm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now you have autocomplete of types.
Nice.
That's cool. Wow, this is I think we almost made no errors this hour.
Yes.
Let's quit while we're ahead. Thanks everyone who's joined us. We're happy to be back on YouTube again. It's been
so just wanted to say before we go, if there is no live next week, because we talked about this with Josh and we said that we'll do lives, and if there is not live next week, sorry, not live but news. So if there is not news next week, probably I don't know if you agree, Josh, but we can just browse through the community and we can just answer questions from there.
Exactly. If there's no news each week, we will just be answering questions. So we'll be here. And if nobody shows up, we will answer random questions that we think are interesting. Cool.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you and see you next week.